Honourable Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was commencing some remarks last Thursday, and I will continue with the remarks that I've intended to give at that time. As I said, Mr. Speaker, Alberta is simply one part of Canada, and Canada is part of an increasingly global world economy. And in view of the global economic recession, we have experienced low commodity prices, and our province certainly hasn't been immune to the effects of recession. Mr. Speaker, make no mistake about it, governments, no matter how large or how responsive they may be, cannot by themselves control the worldwide economy. However, Albertans can be assured that their government has taken action and will continue to take action to address the financial situation and the needs of Albertans. Government, led by our Premier, has a plan for the future, and our plan is known as the Way Forward. It will reassure Albertans that their government understands the priorities and includes a number of points: keeping an eye on spending, using savings to fund critical programs, and to use our savings to fund those programs, maintaining low taxes and the business environment, making sure that we're globally competitive, and making sure that the infrastructure spending is maintained to encourage the jobs and prepare Alberta for the future. Unlike other parties who rigidly state that they would never allow a deficit, our plan will keep Alberta moving forward by maintaining essential social programs, including health care, education and help for seniors, disabled persons and the less fortunate. At the same time, it would limit our spending so that we can balance our budget within 3 years. Mr. Speaker, this is the fiscally responsible way forward. One of the most important measures of fiscal responsibility is getting value for taxpayer money. Today, Mr. Speaker, building infrastructure projects provides value for money to an extent that we have not seen in a number of years. Costs for construction projects in Alberta are more competitive and up to 35% less than what had been projected just a year ago. Alberta Capital Bonds would provide an investment in infrastructure projects that are a priority to Albertans. That is why building infrastructure is a central component of our government's plan. But it is also important to be fiscally responsible in the way that government finances infrastructure projects. Mr. Speaker, let me iterate a few of the economic benefits which would accrue to investors in Alberta Capital Bonds and to their province. First of all, these bonds will be backed by the resources of Alberta and Alberta's AAA credit rating. This credit rating has been earned because of the sound financial management of this progressive Conservative government. Alberta Capital Bonds would be among the safest investments in the world. With no net debt, billions in savings, and with among the brightest economic forecasts in the world, it has been globally recognized that Alberta is a model for fiscal responsibility. In addition, our low tax regime has made it known worldwide that Alberta is among the best places to invest now and in the future. Secondly, Alberta bonds would encourage Albertans to save. Albertans and people across North America in recent years have been saving less and spending more. In fact, easy credit policies meant that many consumers overextended themselves and didn't save at all, and that was part of the responsibility for the downturn in the economy. Purchasing Alberta Capital Bonds with their security and knowing that they will support important public projects will be an effective method for Albertans to save for the future. The bonds would encourage Albertans to keep their investment money right here in Alberta, where it would be used to benefit Albertans. By keeping money in this province and through the construction of funded capital projects, these bonds will act as an effective economic driver. Mr. Speaker, perhaps the most compelling arguments in favour of issuing capital bonds are job creation and building Alberta infrastructure, which will support future economic growth. In my view, it would be simplistic and economically irresponsible to step on the brakes and stop building capital projects because of a decline in resource revenues. In Alberta, we have a pool of highly qualified tradespeople And by continuing to invest in infrastructure, we will keep those qualified workers here in Alberta and keep Albertans working. The funds from these bonds will become available for public projects immediately, helping with our economic recovery. The funds will create jobs in the construction, engineering, natural resource, and other sectors that are involved in building schools, roads, healthcare facilities, seniors facilities, and other infrastructure priorities. Mr. Speaker, Merit Contractors, Canada's largest open shop construction association, has commended this government for their long-term and strategic approach to capital spending. They believe that this alternative financing method will help deal with the backlog of infrastructure projects that have developed during Alberta's rapid growth. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, our progressive Conservative government has a plan, and this motion for Alberta Capital Bonds clearly fits into the way forward plan. It is the right plan and the fiscally responsible plan. If we stick to it, we will recover from our economic challenges better than ever. Mr. Speaker, over the past decade, the population of Alberta has grown by 20%, a tribute to the sound policies brought on by your PC government. We expect Alberta will continue to attract people to move here from other provinces and other countries. With our government's plan, we will have an infrastructure in place ready for the thousands of people projected to make Alberta their home over the next decade. We will have the schools in place to educate their children, and we will have the hospitals and seniors care facilities in place when they're needed. This plan will work, and through initiatives like these and with the impetus of Alberta Capital Bonds, I am confident and optimistic about Alberta's future. I thank the government for introducing this motion, and I urge all members to give it their support.